Have you ever thought about taking a dance class or enrolling your child in a dance class? Maybe you aren't familiar with it, or you just aren't sure if it's the right fit for you. Maybe you used to dance and you're trying to decide if you should do it again. I'm here to share with you or remind you all of the benefits of having dance in your life. Welcome to the Dance Navigator. I'm Chelsea, and I've created this channel to share my knowledge as a dancer, instructor, and studio owner to help dance parents and dancers find the joy of dance and help you navigate the dance world. Deciding whether or not you want to start dancing seems like an easy decision at first. You want to do it or you don't. Your child wants to do it or they don't. It sounds appealing or it doesn't. But once you start factoring in all the different things involved, like the time, the money, and intention, you may start to feel overwhelmed, and it shouldn't have to be that way. So let's focus on some of the important things. Let's highlight some of the things that you or your child can gain through dance. And also, as a reminder, when I say bring dance into your life, I don't mean start training like you need to be a rockette or a prima ballerina. Whether you choose dance as a career path or you just take one class a week just for fun, it can be really rewarding. So let's first talk about the physical aspect of things when it comes to dance. Dance is exercise. If you've never had formal dance training, it may not seem like being a dancer is the most athletic activity, but it truly can be. Dancers have to condition every part of their body, and they must make it look effortless while doing it. They have to think about their posture, they have to strengthen muscles most people never have to focus on, and even though they aren't running a marathon, dance can kind of be compared to like a HIIT workout, like a high intensity, interval training workout. It's about big explosive movements sometimes, and then controlling a slow movement before repeating that pattern again. This takes a high level of endurance, and you're in constant motion. So even when a dancer is holding a difficult position or a pose, they're using muscles and connecting with their body in order to perform. All right, another benefit: balance and coordination. Dancers have to stay balanced, and that requires strength, patience, and practice. You have to have very strong core muscles to stay balanced in difficult positions, such as a releve, which is up on the balls of the feet, or when you're turning and you have to spot and make sure you don't get dizzy. So if you're unfamiliar, when dancers turn, they have to practice what we call spotting, which allows them to turn quickly and multiple times without getting dizzy and falling over. You also have to coordinate movements together and in time with music. So your arms may be doing one thing and your feet are doing another. Basically, being able to physically multitask and still remember to use proper placement takes great skill. Flexibility. Still a part of exercising and staying physically fit, dancers have to stay flexible. And in order for dancers to do certain steps, they do require a level of flexibility that we don't really need to practice for usual daily activities. Now, it's important to note that we still have a general amount of flexibility in our bodies and a certain capacity for it. So you might not, no matter how hard you work, you still might not be that dancer that can get your leg all the way to your head, and that's fine. But even compared to people who don't dance, we're still much more flexible in that aspect. Dancers have to be able to do strenuous exercises of their trade while also holding difficult positions that require this flexibility. Now, being super flexible is desirable to most dancers because it allows you to do certain movements easier or with a more aesthetically pleasing way. But even if you're not excessively flexible, dancers are still practicing movements that are good for their body by practicing exercises that work on their flexibility. So basically, even if you can never drop into the splits or get your leg all the way up to your head, you are still benefiting your body by working on your flexibility in a healthy way. Overall, dance improves coordination, endurance, flexibility, and strength, and is known for health benefits such as cardiovascular health, osteoporosis prevention, improved bone strength, stress relief, and maintaining a healthy weight. As a teacher, I've witnessed how strongly children are affected by being involved in dance. Nobody can rush a child's developmental stages, but working with fine and gross motor skills is crucial to their growth, and children who are practicing those skills while also having fun tend to be more successful when it comes to reaching those developmental milestones. So before we get to the mental benefits of dance, what is it that makes you curious about the benefits of dance? Have you been a dancer before? Let me know, I'm curious. And also, if you're enjoying this video and want to learn more, subscribe to the Dance Navigator and turn the bell on. Then you'll be notified anytime I post a new video. Okay, Let's move on to the mental or emotional benefits of dance. Memory. Dancers are always working on memory skills. Sure, there are routines and productions that require choreography, and that is a large portion of what dancers need to remember, but they also have to memorize things in class, and quickly. Dancers aren't usually given a lot of time to memorize something either. For example, I personally like to slightly change my regular weekly exercises for students, so even if the exercise is similar, they have to stay on their toes a bit and remember the change. Maybe I change an arm, or I decide to double up on one side with something. Either way, I explain the exercise once, maybe twice if necessary and if there's any questions, and then seconds later the students have to repeat it themselves without me. Sometimes they have to do it as a group, sometimes solo, and often different dancers must memorize different patterns and do them simultaneously. The memory muscles are constantly working for a dancer, and if you progress to doing auditions or making this a career, you will get even more practice with that. Now, a very important thing that dancers gain is self-confidence. When you're a dancer, you learn that it's very important to be honest with yourself. You progress the best when you can acknowledge where your weaknesses are, accept them, and then work on them. And as a student, teacher, performer, whatever you do, you are always under someone's critical eye. There's always someone to tell you where you need to improve and what you need to work on. And this can be difficult at times, but within a nurturing dance environment, it's also what makes you strong and confident in yourself. When you join a group of fellow dancers and you see support from them and your mentors, you feel good about yourself. And dancers have to put themselves out there all the time, whether it's in front of a class or on stage. It is a performing art, so they are putting themselves out there for the world in some way all the time. When you have that support system or you are successful in new achievements, it builds your confidence. Students can look back at things they did and say, wow, I did that. I know I can do this new thing because I was strong and brave and I did this or I achieved this before. And in the proper class environment, that will happen at some point. You don't have to be the best dancer to make achievements. They're achievements in your self-progress. So that's very important. All right, improved mood and well-being. Now, just because you or your child takes a dance class doesn't mean they're going to be happy all the time, but it is meant to be fun. And when anyone practices an activity that brings them joy, it's going to make them happier overall. Dance is also just not a physical activity, but a form of expression. It is art in motion, and it gives people a chance to express themselves in another way. I know I've always been pretty comfortable with words, but there are still emotions that are more easily expressed for me through dance. And it feels good. Sometimes you just can't get the words perfect, but to be able to feel it through your body is a better outlet of expression for some of us. Now, as a teacher, I've seen so much of this over the years, and I've seen students come in and be extremely quiet and shy. And a note is that there's nothing wrong with that. And I think that's very important that students always know. It's okay to be quiet and it's okay to be shy. That's not something to be fixed. But I have had students come in that are uncomfortable, and that's why they're quiet. They're insecure about something. And then I've watched them progress as dancers and get slowly more comfortable to where if you looked at them from their first year to the last year that they took a class, I'm in amazement sometimes to see how bold they are and how comfortable they are with their classmates and good they feel when they're doing what they do. Now, as a dancer, you also really improve your social connections and cooperative skills. Being a dancer means you must be a good team player. Often, I think dance is misunderstood that it's a highly individual activity because it isn't a team sport. But no dancer ever gets to be a soloist their whole life. And they definitely won't become a soloist without a lot of experience and advancement to begin with. And that requires being a part of a corps, a group of dancers. Whether it's in a class or a production, you must work with other dancers to make choreography work, and dancers who work with many people are going to be more successful. Dancers also have to work with different teachers, directors, and choreographers. There are people in a variety of roles that work together to make studios and productions work. Dancers who work on partnering skills also require understanding, patience, focus, and a more personal connection to their partner to be successful. So in all those movies, when you see one partner and one's always right and telling the other one what to do, It's movies. And yes, it happens, but it's not a successful, healthy partner relationship. You have to be able to work with your partner, understand your own mistakes, and know that you both need to work together to make something work. Even for a lift. Lifts, people really misunderstand that it's all on the person lifting, and it is not. It is just as important for the person being lifted to do the right thing, to be strong and connected to the movement. Now, on top of all these things, being a dancer also gives you a sense of community. Other people who have a similar interest and a passion and care for things that you do. You know the minute you meet another dancer that they're going to understand things about your life and interests that non-dancers just don't get. Anybody that's ever said, I can't, I have dance, knows what I'm talking about. Problem solving. Dancers are always having to be adaptable and work on problem-solving skills. Whether it's a teacher or a choreographer who frequently changes their routines on students, not saying that that's me, or just obstacles that cause those changes, dancers have to adapt. Oh, and of course, you still have to always keep smiling and pretending everything is normal on stage. They have to handle changes all the time and make quick decisions during shows when unexpected problems arise. I was always so proud of my students and felt really good when I would see them solve a problem on their own. Maybe a student was out sick the day of a show, and before waiting for me to rearrange formations, they were already working together and adapting the choreography to make it seamlessly work. Maybe someone's costume piece would break and they only had a few minutes to come up with a solution, and everyone in the dressing room would be working together with what they had to create or sew something that would work. Or maybe they would have to make a tough choice and say, how can we make this work if we can't fix it? Those are the moments that us teachers live for, knowing that they can do it without you and handle anything that comes their way. Also, I've witnessed some very creative fixes from students over the years, so it can also be entertaining. But it's great seeing dancers know that because it's a skill that they learn from having to be so adaptable in dance. Discipline. This is one of the top things dancers learn. You must be disciplined whether you dance just for fun or not. And I think discipline is one of the greatest skills that dancers can acquire because it shows in their daily life. And for kids that get involved with dance young, it follows them through important moments like college courses and job interviews and just difficult times in life. Dancers learn very young that they must keep working hard to keep progressing, and they have to be patient too. Commitment and dedication are crucial to being a part of any class and production. But dancers also learn that they must be dedicated as individuals to their dance education if they want to be fully participating and be the best that they can be. Basically, there's no slacking off and getting anywhere. And there's a lot of activities that are like that, but dance is one that shouldn't be forgotten. So if you weren't sure why taking dance could be good for you or your child, now you know at least some of the things that they will gain. It's never too late to start dance. And as long as your child enjoys it, it's never too young to introduce them to it. And if you're worried about getting back into it, remember you don't have to be perfect at it. You just need to love what you're doing. Don't go back into dance trying to get to where you were. Just look at it like a new adventure of something that you love. And progress and learning all of these skills doesn't happen overnight, and it isn't always easy, but your dance journey is just that. It's an adventure worth experiencing that will influence your life long after you walk out of the studio for the last time. Thanks for joining me today. I look forward to hearing your positive thoughts on why you might want to start your dance journey, or how you feel dance can benefit your life, and hope to see you in the next video. Until then, keep on dancing.